PowerCon 2021 is just a short month away, and this week the PowerCon powers that be shared the packaging for the Masters of the Universe Origins exclusive, so let's check them out today on Toy Habits. And before we get into the news, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest reviews, news, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and with me as always is my collector in crime Larry, and we are taking a look at the box art and packaging of the Masters of the Universe Origins PowerCon exclusive, but the shots are also giving us a clue as to what to expect for the figures themselves, so let's start off by taking a look at the Mysteries of Castle Grayskull Accessory pack.
The packaging for this one, it has a cool vintage vibe. It has almost like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of feel to it.
It does.
Kind of like that old just creatures and hands and faces and tongues and stuff reaching through. I don't know, it's pretty creepy. It's really cool. I like the art. I like the packaging. I think they did a good job with having a lot of different kind of elements to it. You know, the outer packaging having kind of that wood grain look.
Yeah.
And then kind of the box having the grate, and then open it up to reveal the figure itself with the accessories.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with just the Motu packaging in general. They have layers of packaging. They have an outer shell, they have the inner shell, and then the display box that actually has the figures is its own display piece as well.
Yeah, they give you a lot of different options, and that's kind of a cool thing for me because I get excited about one aspect of it and maybe get bored and it just kind of blends into the shelf for me. I don't even notice it anymore. And so I think stuff like this is good because it gives you a way to freshen up the display a little bit. It's a good way to be able to change things up.
I do love the design. The front of it, is that scene where you can see the heads of the creatures, but if you flip it around, it's actually the backsides of them kind of creeping through. So I think that's a really cool effect that they did there.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I was surprised. Like, you had Castle Grayskull before I did, and I was actually, seeing some of the stuff online. I was really surprised that they had left out the robot. And so fast forward to when they did the figure reveals for the PowerCon exclusives, I was like, okay, now that makes sense. All right, we're getting the robot back and we're getting some cool accessories to put around Castle Grayskull.
I guess I kind of wonder, did they plan that? Did they realize it after kind of did all the cost models and everything? Maybe they had all the accessories in Grayskull. They know the price point and they got it all set up, and then somebody said, oh geez, the spacesuit, it's not in there. If we put that in, that's going to be an additional $3 in cost or something, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and that's going to throw the whole model off.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's, we can just release it as an exclusive, or maybe they just said, let's hold off because we can do this up in style and release that as an exclusive. So I think that's how I'd rather see it.
Yeah.
That maybe it was a plan to kind of make that a special thing, and then having the other pieces, come along with it, add some playability, some more display kind of accessories and stuff. And I think it'll be really cool to see it in Grayskull.
Yeah, definitely. And next up, we have the Motu Origins Evil Horde 4-pack, and this is a really interesting display. When I saw this case, I was like, one, how did they do this? And two, like, who thought of this? Because it's really cool. I've never seen a dome. Kind of looks like a Rolo. It does
look, or a lampshade.
Yeah, or a lampshade.
Which, if they had a lampshade like that, I would buy it.
Oh, I would totally buy that too. I thought the box was really cool. I mean, they found a way to really encompass the whole Horde universe around this box.
Yeah, the art for the line in general has been spectacular so far. I mean, there's very little that comes out where you're not like looking at all the little details for possible, future figures that are going to be coming soon and different things, and just so many bright colors and just really great representations of kind of the vintage look, but still updating it a little bit with just a lot of vibrant colors and things. It's really, really good.
Yeah, they did a really great job, and I think you're right. Like, the illustrations for all of the Masters of the Universe stuff has been amazing. To see the Fright Zone in an image like this, in the background, there's a planet in there, and it kind of just gives that whole scene a lot of depth. depth. You know, you could have just had the Fright Zone, you know, wrap around this whole thing, but there's so much dimension in this box. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we're not even seeing the other side of it.
No.
I mean, maybe... And I mean, I guess this just opens, but maybe there's something else on the other side. Like if you have the opposite side of it open, maybe it's a whole scene together that way. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the other side is. Maybe it's just the same scene on the back too. Who knows?
Yeah,
and I would think if they had something else, maybe they would have shown it, but maybe they're kind of keeping it for the actual reveal and people get it in hand.
I do love the outer shell of the box is very simple with that Hordak and Horde logo on it. It's also on the top of the box in color, which I think is really cool. And this was the set that actually made me think that I might need to drive down to PowerCon because this one's big. I wasn't expecting it to be that big.
I don't know. I guess I can't envision how big that box would have to be. Almost like a 20 to 24 inch box.
I would say it's at least maybe 15 to 20 inches in diameter. But the figures look really cool in it. I love the little window display that they have there. I think they did a good job. It's kind of like the Lords of Power set that they released last year.
Right. So it is a cool set. I feel a little bit of concern about it because... obviously it's the repaint of Hordak, but we haven't seen anything else released as far as even character assortments, much less pictures of anything coming beyond the next wave with Stinkor, Webstore, Green Goddess, and the Beastman Lords of Power repaint. So then it's a little concerning to me to think that maybe the next figure reveals are going to be just a standard release of Grizzlor and the Horde Troopers,
possibly,
and then probably another, maybe another He-Man and Skeletor variant.
That's the cool thing about being there live because they'll have all that stuff and they're going to have those reveals. So we'll see in about a month, Larry. It can't come soon enough.
No, and I always love those. There's been so many years where I would take an afternoon off of work to be able to be home and watch as pictures start kind of coming in of the little bit of stuff people would post from Comic-Con or from PowerCon and different things. Seeing what figures are actually there in person, and then waiting for that panel that's going to show the next maybe 3 or 4 months worth of probably a couple waves, and that's what I hope to see is maybe 2 or 3 more waves. Maybe 2 waves worth of pictures, and then maybe there's another 3 or 4 figures announced beyond that, or another vehicle.
It's interesting that they're releasing only Origins exclusives when they also have the Masterverse line, and they also have that kids line that's coming out too. So I don't know.
Yeah, to me that kind of shows that they know that the majority. I say the majority. This is just my opinion, of course, but that this is probably the safest line. This is what you're going to have the most support for is the Origins line. This is kind of the general release stuff, and Masterverse and the other cartoon series are kind of things they're trying out, and we'll see where they go. But I think that the Scareglow release for Comic-Con, it didn't feel like a Comic-Con release. It just felt like a very small, like, here's a few of them. I mean, that thing was gone so fast that I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. And we have our last set to talk about, and that's the Leo Faker and the Duplicat set. And yeah, I mean, the box art on this is really, really cool. The old school Snake Mountain that you see back there gives me hope that we're getting a Snake Mountain to rival Castle Grayskull. I think that'd be awesome.
I would love to see that. I never owned Snake Mountain as a kid, and if they released Snake Mountain Origins, that would be great. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and this set is interesting because I'd never heard. I'd heard of Leo Faker before, but Duplicat was pretty new for me, and I think it's interesting to see the boots that that are attached in that upper right corner, and I thought that they might have boots attached to the feet, and so that confirmed it for me there.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know what I think of Duplicat. I think it's cool because it's something new. I don't know how it'll fit into my display. I'm still on the fence about it.
Yeah,
I'll have to see how it looks when I get it in hand. I think Like the Leo Faker figure is cool, but I guess I don't know how I'm gonna fit him into the display yet. I gotta that kind of remains to be seen.
I think the Faker in this one is cool for a couple reasons because it has the classic Skeletor armor on him and also the waist armor too. And seeing the Havoc staff in orange, I think is cool too.
Oh yeah, and his boots are kind of they're like a brighter purple. At least in the image I'm looking at, and maybe it's everything looks different
Yeah.
depending on which monitor you're using or your color settings or anything. So maybe it ends up being kind of similar to what we've seen on some other releases, but it looks like it's a brighter purple, probably to go along with the actual Leo Faker release.
It's funny because I had a vision of what this pack would look like just based upon me picking up the Battled Warrior set at Target, and so this actually gives me a sense of what the scale might be for this particular set too, because if you look at that set, you might shave a couple inches off of the Leo Faker and Duplicat set box, but this is still a pretty massive box.
Oh yeah. So. And we talked a little bit before we got started here, but it feels a little empty. I don't think there's much of a way they could change it, but it does feel like there's a little bit too much space.
Yeah.
There needs to be maybe a couple accessories, something to kind of fill up that void around them. It looks a little unfinished or something somehow.
Yeah, I think it's the plain backgrounds that they have on this thing, and they did the same thing with this pack too. It's just a blue background, but they did include a display piece and some creatures in here, and that's actually what I thought this Leo Faker and Duplicat set would actually be. So when I first saw the Battle Warrior set, I was like, oh, this is what we're gonna get, just a different version of it. But right. I don't know, like the box art and the figures, they're really cool, don't get me wrong. It's like I do love the set, but yeah, it does look a little empty and unfinished.
So here's a couple of thoughts. It could be that this is a kind of a mock-up. Maybe this set's going to come with a small diorama piece for Snake Mountain, but they don't want to show it because Snake Mountain will debut at PowerCon.
That would be cool.
Or will be announced. So that's a possibility. And maybe maybe they don't want any conversation about it because they don't want to spoil that surprise. That'd be a perfect way to do it. You just don't show that in this picture. Nobody's going to be mad that it wasn't in the picture.
No, not at all.
So that'd be pretty cool. I'd be super excited to see that. I think that would kind of seal this as a really awesome piece, having an extra thing like that. It's definitely a unique figure. And like you said, the artwork it's just great. Like the kind of the rolling like red pink smoke or clouds behind, and it just looks really cool. And the outer box, that shell, the actual outer box looks really cool. The scene that they've got on there, they're just doing a really good job with all the different elements of the packaging. So
yeah, the illustrators that they have doing these boxes are phenomenal. And we're going to be at PowerCon this year, so we're going to be bringing everyone the latest news. And one of my favorite things about these cons are the rows of displays of toys for the current and the future figures coming out in the line. So let us know what you think about the box art and the figures in general in the comments below. And we'll definitely be bringing you all the live action from PowerCon, and we'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. I'm Michael,
and I'm Larry,
and thanks for tuning in.